If you're in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Ron's got a map in his pocket, a chalkboard brain that won't stop it. Why's the sky blue? Why's the grass green? He's the sharpest know-it-all you've ever seen. Ron explains, from the cosmos to your drains. Big or small, he's got the brains. Don't you worry, Ron explains.
It's a long theme song, but I like it.
All right. Hey, you guys, welcome to the Ron and Don Show. It's our real estate only edition where we like to talk about things that we're learning. Also, right after this, we have a home of the week. So cool on Mondays. Now you get the Ron and Don Show. Right after that, you get the Ron and Don Real Estate Show. And during the real estate season, especially on the springboard, coming up, our home of the week, it's a Covington Charmer. And it's over 5,200 square feet. It's really unbelievable, and you're not going to believe the price on this house. And we got a lot of homes that we're bringing on. If you need us, just go to ronanddonsitdown.com. It all started a couple of years ago with Ron and Don Sit Down. Yeah, this couple called us about a different property in Leavenworth, and then we helped a friend, their friend Kim, who's over on the Olympic Peninsula, as her mom passed away. I think we had to get rid of 4 pianos at Kim's house. Some beautiful pianos. Then Jamie and Scott have decided to kind of downsize, live by the lake, and they have a Brady Bunch house that if you have a Brady Bunch family, it's really incredible, you guys. So we'll be talking about that coming up next. But Ron's here to explain something, rates and buying power. What do you got?
So we talk about mortgages a lot on the show. They're important. I think people fixate on them too much. And so, but we'll get into that as we unpack this thing. So for the first time in almost 4 years, the 30-year conventional mortgage dipped below 6%. So in February 2026, we were at 5.98%. It has not been that low since 2022. And it made a lot of press. You probably heard about this. We talked to our mortgage person, and they're saying we're getting a lot of applications. People, when you can lock in a rate. A lot of people don't know this. Many times, at least with the lender Don and I work with, if you get underwritten, you send in all your documents, your W-2, your taxes, etc., and let's say it's at 5.98, you can lock that rate for a period of time. So even if it jumps back up to 6.25, you're locked in at 5.98. So if someone bought a house up here when it was 7.5, and now it's at 5.98, it might be a time to talk to a person about a refi, and it will lower your monthly payment. So this is a big deal. So again, we've talked about this a bunch, but when we were in the throes of COVID, the Federal Reserve set their lending rate at 0, which means that the mortgage rates got down under 3, so into the high 2s, which at the time we said we're never going to see those again. I don't think we're ever going to see those again. And so to dip down below 6 was a big deal. So what I thought would be interesting, first off, do you want to say anything about that? Because I'm going to compare and contrast here something.
What do you think it is? Because when we talked to Lisa, and by the way, Mitch is, we used to use Mitch, and we don't use Mitch anymore because he retired from the business. So we use Lisa now, and Lisa is phenomenal, you guys. Here's the thing. If you lock in a rate now and you go shopping, and let's say you don't buy something right now and you end up buying next fall, for instance, she'll stay in touch with you, find you the best rate, and then all you have to do is update your information. You have a lot of buying power when you're underwritten, meaning you've shared all your documents. You have no buying power if you just go out online like Rocket Mortgage and then you type in, because what they're doing, it's like when you're searching for a credit card, you're putting in the information, but they're not checking the information.
It's just like an AI
They're
algorithm.
saying based on your information, you're qualified. So here's a letter. As a realtor, if we're selling a home, like we're getting ready to sell this house down in Covington, if we're sitting down with somebody that is underwritten and they're offering us $5,000 less, and then we're sitting down with someone that's offering $5,000 more, but they're not underwritten, we might tell our seller, hey, we want to make sure we close. go with the person that's underwritten versus the person that's not. And so it's really important to have a mortgage person on your side. And it's really important. These big banks, they don't answer the phone on the weekend. You want to make sure you have a mortgage person that's going to go out, shop, find you the best rate. They're going to charge you about as much money, sometimes less, but certainly not more than a big bank does. And they will get on the phone. And a lot of times it's the mortgage person, when we realtors are sitting at the table and we're trying to close a deal on a Sunday night, it's that mortgage person who's available that will answer the phone, that can put that deal together. And we have Lisa that will do that for you. And also, let's say you're like, hey, it's at 5.9, but you guys, what if it gets to 5.7 or 5.6? Typically, what a mortgage person like Lisa will do is she'll say, hey, you know what? We'll refi for you. And let's say we do it at 5.9. It's at 5.98 today. And if we get 6 months down the road and it is at 5.7 or 5.6, we'll do the refi for you, and we'll do that for free. And there's something mentally, she said, and Ron, maybe you can explain. I don't know what it is. There's something about that 6. We see when it goes over 6. If it's 6, 6.1, 6.2, we see it's not that there's not buyers out there, but we see buyers stand on the side. It's like a football game. There's football players in the game, and then there's ones that stand on the sidelines. And then so what buyers do is they stand on the sidelines. They're dressed and ready to go, and they're ready to buy, but they're standing on the sideline. When it goes below 6, as soon as it went below 6, even on Queen Anne Mountain where I live, sold strip, sold strip, sold strip, sold strip, sold strip. There's something about that 6, right?
Yeah, I think it's just psychologically, it seems more fair. I think we got used to these 2s and 3s and 4s, and so number 5 seems in the ballpark and seems more fair. So let's hold this in your brain here on interest rates. So what I thought was interesting of why mortgage rates are important, and it's not 1/10 of a point or 2/10 of a point, it has to be a point, is what I did is on this side of the screen, what do we want to call this guy?
Wow.
Who does he look like to you?
He looks like...
Can I just ask, are we now dealing in houses that are smaller than human beings? Is that what's happening here?
Yes. Well, this is a very big guy. He's standing in front of the house.
Oh, I see.
He looks like a
Fourth-
Simon to
fourth
me.
All right, so we got Simon and Simon's house.
Simon the stick figure. And Simon says what?
Simon is representing the median income human being in Seattle.
What Simon says.
Simon says that he makes $125,000 a year. That is the median income in Seattle. So this is never going to change.
Oh! You didn't say Simon says.
Simon is always going to make $125,000, and he always wants to have a $2,900 mortgage payment with 20% down. So these things we're going to hold constant. All right. Simon says he makes $125,000. He's buying a house. He's putting 20% down in cash, and he wants his payment. That doesn't include insurance and taxes, but he wants his payment to be around $2,900 a month. So when interest rates were at 3% back here, interest rates were at 3%. Simon could afford an $860,000 house as the median Seattleite. When that jumped to 4%, now his buying power dropped from $860 to $755. When it's at 6%, he can afford a $606,000 house. All of these things staying the same. And when it was at 7%, it went down to a $544,000 house. When it was at 7.5, which was around the peak, it's going to be closer to $520,000. So you can see, especially Simon says he lives in Seattle, the difference between going out and shopping at $545,000 versus $860,000 is a very big difference in terms of the type of housing that you can buy. So that's why this is such a big deal. Because if you went from 7%, 7.5%, going from 544, and now we're under 6, you're adding $60,000, $70,000 every time these things tick over, and our buying power goes up. So what was happening in this section here is people were going, well, my payment is gone from $2,900 to stay with the type of house that I want. now my payment is up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. I can't afford that. And so they weren't willing to drop from a $900,000, $875,000, $900,000 house to the houses and the things that you can buy around $544,000. People were like, I don't want to live in this thing. It's got too much maintenance. Maybe it's a condo. Maybe it's a farther drive than I want. I don't want to live in that. I still want to live in this. And that meant that their payment would go up by thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah. Boy. Simon says that's a bunch of shiznit. If you want to see Simon, you should watch the video, right? Yeah. The video is on Spotify, and then it's also on... where else is the video?
YouTube.
On YouTube.
And we'll probably put some stuff up on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
So there's some kind of psychological thing, and now you can see some. It'd be good for everyone to see this board because now you can see some of the numbers that are behind it. And I do have to say, we feel the buyers right now are back in the market in the spring, and we call it the springboard. It's the best time of the year to sell a home, and then fall, and then as we always tell you, summer, and then typically the winter months after that. And it's important when you're shopping to kind of understand that. So as the interest rate goes down on this chart, your buying power goes up to keep your payment the same. Yeah.
So a lot of times payment is the most important thing, especially if you're buying your first house. You're like, I need my payment to be $2,900, $3,000.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the market right now is there were a lot of homes that we could see that were delisted. What do I mean by delisted? That were delisted in the winter months.
It just means that people wanted a price. They weren't getting offers, and they just took it off the market.
So they took it off the market. And now what's happening is you have these realtors that are holding back these delisted homes, and now they're flooding the market with those delisting homes. And the delisting homes, especially in the Seattle area and on the east side, those homes are selling. The ones that are struggling, once again, sometimes are the ones in the bedroom communities. And what the market is saying is you better strategize. Get with your agent and really put the home on the market. Because if you don't put the home on the market at the right price, your phone's not going to ring. People aren't going to come by your open house. So it's really, really important. Pricing is key. And depending on where we're at in the market, sometimes what you do is I call it slingshot in the home. And we saw this during COVID where I'm going to list it at 1.3. I know we can get it to 1.5 and hopefully you get it to 1.6, 1.7. We watched a home in Magnolia. That thing slingshotted close to, in fact, we wrote on it. There were 17 offers. We were number 2. The slingshot on that was over $600,000. We're not in a slingshot market right now, even though that we're seeing multiple offers in some place. Usually the multiple offers are starter homes, homes that have been really taken care of, homes that are kind of under $2 million, especially that 1.2, 1.3, 1.5. Those homes right now are selling like hotcakes. And again, Ron and I on the radio one day, we went out and we sold hotcakes. Hotcakes don't even sell like hotcakes.
They don't.
We found out.
One thing that's interesting, though, for me to wrap this up, we just closed on a deal, a beautiful brand new build townhouse, one block off of the main drag on Queen Anne. And that builder, because they had all this inventory come on at the same time, they bought down the interest rate for our buyer, I think, a 1.5 points.
Buyback,
and
yeah.
so what that means is the seller, not our client, we were representing the buyer, the seller prepaid the interest to get that interest rate from 5.98 to under, in the 4s. So, and they were like, we need to move these townhomes. We have all of them came on at once. Some of them are sitting longer than we have. They're paying the debt service on the entire project. And so they're like, we're going to give you money. Please buy this townhouse. We will buy down your interest rate. And you can see what that did. So 1.5 points made their payment probably go down $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of things we can do right now.
Yeah.
What if I'm a buyer? I'm not in a big hurry, but I'm thinking about buying a second house, let's say, and I look at that chart you've gotten. Rates are coming down. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till it gets down.
I just explained that. He doesn't listen.
No, he doesn't.
And before you jump in, you didn't say Simon says Matt has a question.
It's never going to get down to this area in our lifetimes again. This was artificially induced because of COVID and the presidents at that time in Congress were trying to stimulate the economy. So they took that federal rate to 0.
The good news is
we're not going to see this again. It's going to be at least 4.5 and above, I think, for the rest of our lives.
when the rate is up, a lot of times, Matt, especially on like homes, the price is down. So they say you should marry the property, marry the house, and date the rate. You can change that rate anytime, right? So if you're in a market, I like buying in a market where maybe the rates are up because there's less competition. When the rates are down, there's competition everywhere. The price of the house goes up. People are waiving inspections, so you don't get to inspect your own house. Then you end up buying something that has deferred maintenance that you didn't know about. The furnace is blowing up, or the water
Foundation is cracked.
Yeah.
Another thing that like Don's done before is you get a 30-year conventional loan to get into the property. Then you aggressively start paying down that note for a few years. And now when your balance is lower, you refinance that into a 15-year loan or a 10-year loan, which gets you significantly better interest rates. And you can manipulate it that way as well to try and play around with your monthly payment. And that will save you a lot of money in the long run.
Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to the Ron and Don Real Estate Show. If you need us, we'd love to talk real estate. And this is what we'll do. Virtually, we'll sit down. It takes like 30, 45 minutes, and we'll just kind of talk about your real estate journey. We promise to meet you where you're at, whether you're buying, selling, investing. And for a lot of people, if you're an investor, maybe you don't even know how to fix a house up. We know how to do that. We have the crews to do it, and we can get it done for you at a rate that probably you can't get it done, right? So we know the inspectors. We know the plumbers. We know the electricians. We know the contractors, the painters, and all that. Paul the roofer will come out and get that thing roofed especially from Elite Roofing at a rate that no one else will do it, right? And then he'll guarantee that roof. He'll hand that you're able to hand that guarantee off to someone else if you end up selling the home. So don't forget, housing here is going to continue to go up. It's just going to continue to go up. 3.7 million people here 20 years ago. We're up to 4.3 million. Market number 12. We're going up to 5 million people. And so homes are just going to continue to go up in value. And so sometimes if you feel like you can't buy a home, go out and find a partner, right? Some of the properties that I own, I have partners in owning those properties so that we can take down that property together and we can share. Basically, you share the bills, and then down the road when you sell it, you get to share the $1 million or $2 million that you made in selling that property. So pretty cool.
But don't get a watch with them, probably. Just
don't get a buddy watch.
Yeah,
It's in the last show, which is why I didn't bring it up in this show, because you'd have to hear the last show in order to understand.
People listen to both shows.
You think they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Simon says, see you next time.
All right. Ron and Don, sitdown.com. We got to get Matt a buddy watch. Have you ever got Matt a watch?
Matt doesn't need a watch.
He doesn't use a watch?
Matt can tell you exactly how long 60 seconds is. Okay. He doesn't need a watch. I'm not even kidding.
Is that from just doing TV his whole life?
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows what 2 minutes feels like.
He just knows. All right. And he knows when we've gone long enough.
Correct.
Which is now. RonandDonSitDown.com. Thanks for listening. Next time, you keep your head up and your shoulders back. And don't forget that, we listen to the Ron and Don Show. All right. On the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Well, that's it. Show's over. We'll see you next time on the Ron and Don Radio Network.